So in preparation for midweek moment this week, I kind of was just thinking, or actually just looking at a few of the Bible characters, and I must be honest, quite a few of them are a lot like me, and just looking at the characteristics of them and what they do and how they did stuff and whatever, I'm like, I can so relate to so many of them. Like some days I feel like Elijah. I'm brave and I'm confident. I'm so full of faith. I actually feel like forget Mount Carmel. I feel like I can go onto Table Mountain. I want to like just go scream and say, "Hey God, prove to these people that you are Yahweh. You are the true and living God, and there's no one like you. And send down your fire from heaven. And do whatever you need to do. I feel like that God. That's the amount of faith that I have sometimes. And then there are other days that I feel like Thomas. I'm like, I don't know, Lord. I know what you said. I know what you're saying. I know what's happening. I don't know. I have a lot of doubt in me. Unless I can see you. Unless I can put my hands on your pierced hands. Like Thomas said. I don't believe unless I can see it. I want to put my hands where the nails went through on your hands. I want to see you with my own eyes. I also have that doubt, like Thomas had some days. And then other days, I'm like Hannah. I'm crying out to God and I'm waiting on His word to come to pass because I know that He's not a man that He will lie. He's a good Father. He's a good God. And He's given a word. I can stand on the word. I'm stand on His promise. I know it's going to come to pass. And just like Hannah, I'm full of faith and I'm believing and I know I'm going to see my promise come to pass. But then there are those other times, and I don't know about you, but I'm a lot like Peter. I actually find myself like a lot of times just being like Peter. Those times like I'm walking on the water, I'm walking towards Christ. My eyes are so fixed and focused on Him, and I'm like I can see Him saying, "Come closer, you're doing so well, you're doing awesome, Rachel, you got this." And then all of a sudden, you see the waves. You start seeing the waves, you start hearing the wind around you, and you start hearing the lies, the whispers of the enemy that he's just saying. The enemy's whispers become louder than anything else. Your eyes start to see your situation really is like. Because the moment, as I'm walking on the water, walking towards Christ, you tend to look away. It's that split second when your eyes lose focus from Him that you start to see your reality of your situation. You start to see, you're like, oh wow, you don't have your faith eyes any longer. You now have your natural eyes, and you start to see what's really and truly in front of you. You start to feel those waves and start to feel the wind, and all the lies of the enemy just starts going like crazy because he then becomes louder than anything else. And that's how I feel a lot of times. But then it's that moment when I just start feeling so overwhelmed, like I'm sinking, just like Peter, he started sinking, and the more he allowed the wind and the waves to just take over and his natural eyes to see what he's really seeing, he started sinking. And he started going deeper and deeper and deeper. And that is that moment when God just comes and he catches you, he catches me. He doesn't just catch you, but he catches me as well at that specific moment. And that is what I want to encourage you this morning. That a lot of times, maybe you feel like you're praying and your prayer is just hitting the ceiling. You're like, does he really hear what I'm saying? And that's when the enemy's like, no, he's not here. No, he can't hear you. Just forget about it. Move on. Move past it. It's too late. It's too long. It's never going to happen. Never going to work. But that's where I'm reminded, like Hannah, when she kept on going through to God. And then God gave her a word. And then she started believing. And the Bible says that the moment Hannah got the word, she became alive again. She was full of joy, started eating again because just one word from God changed everything. And just like Thomas, when God knew that Thomas needed to see Him, what did He do? He showed Himself to Thomas. He says, "Come, Thomas, put your hands. Here's the nails. Come, feel us." And that's the kind of God that He is. And then my favorite, of course, Elijah. That moment when he was feeling suicidal, what did God do? He allowed him to take a nap, and He baked him a cake. I mean, who wouldn't want that? A nap and a cake. I mean, that's what God did. And that is what I want to remind you, that even though the moments that you feel like the Bible characters, you can turn things around, because if you are lonely, He is your best friend. If you are sick, He is your healer. If you are a widow, or maybe you're single, or wherever you find yourself, He is your husband. He is the father to the fatherless. And if you are running on empty, guess what? He is your provider. He is your source. So, whatever you are lacking today, replace whatever you're feeling with the great I am, because He is the great I am. So, I want to encourage you this morning that your Father is the great I am. He is whatever you need for wherever you are, for everyone, because He is the great I am.